Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Scarf Boy. I don't know why I
Oh,
thought
gotcha.
Scarf Boy.
Put my chat up. Could not see.
Oh, he added us on Twitter. He was like,
Ah, got you.
Seven, why hasn't it started yet?
Wow. Wow. Very
And
aggressive, but I like it.
we
Accountability is important.
right, he's bringing the lit to the lit stream. That's what we want. That's that energy, hold friends accountable. We appreciate
Cheers.
that. Mazel tov and cheers. And we are live. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's me, Crunk Chocolate, and I'm here with the show bro, Sharpie Charlie.
What up? What up? Happy Thursday, everybody.
Thursday. Does your drink match your hoodie? What is going on?
No,
No,
purple. This
oh,
is blue.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, shouts to
I
White
was like,
Claw.
you're doing too much, and
Yeah.
I love it. Let's go.
I think we call this Gucci Day, 1017, Shouts to
Oh,
Gucci.
Gucci. Hey,
Yeah,
burn.
man. How's it going for you, bro? How you feeling?
It's been good. It had some craziness with work, but work is always kind of in itself crazy for everyone in their
Mm-hmm.
own way. But I've gotten pretty good at being like the second I step out of there, I'm like, well, I forgot what happened at work today. Was it bad? I don't
What
know.
is my job? How do I do my job? I don't even know. I'm just here.
Hopefully,
Just
I
show
figure
up
it out when I go
tomorrow.
back
Yep.
tomorrow.
That's work life balance. Forget how to do your job the moment you leave, and I promise you you'll be happier. I don't know.
Yes, facts, facts. Yeah, you. How the
Man,
how things?
bro, teenagers will keep you so engaged. Like I was around children today from 8:30 until 4:30. And like it's just so many children. And I love them with all my heart and all my soul. But I heard so much noise. Like it was just like I drove in silence at one point tonight after I left the gym. I was like, I don't want to hear anything. Like I just want peace. So I had like literally 15 minutes of driving that was just quiet. And I savor it. Like tomorrow after school, I am just gonna sit in silence and hear my PS5 controller make clicking sounds. No AirPods, no music, just therapy on the sticks. That's it, man. So that's where I am now. It's October. Like week 8 is coming to an end. But man, I'm so happy to get here, talk to our guests, have some good footy conversation. It's also a great sports night. Shout out to Virginia Tech playing. Got Michael Vick on TV right now. The Yankees are playing. Shout out to the homie Lando. You got NFL, my Broncos playing. It's a Chuck night, man. I'm happy.
Oh, they had the Thursday game.
Saints Broncos about to kick off. So I'm I got two screens rocking. You know how it is at Charlie's. It's lit.
Love the vibes. Love the vibes. Well, we have a wonderful show for you. We're bringing on everybody who's been on this week. All the guests this week have been on before, so these are repeat guests. Kate
Love it.
Tigchelaar, she's come. Hold on, Tigchelaar. No, what? There's a fun little part of her name, but I don't remember where it is. So when she comes back on, she'll help
We'll
me
learn.
butcher her
Yep.
last name. It'll be great. And then we have the homie Roberto Rojas and Kevincho. So that little demon, amazing show for you. Um, we got obviously city men back, city women. They barely grazed by. Uh,
3 points
more,
is 3 points, baby.
yeah, more comebacks. That's actually makes me excited, knowing
Hmm.
that they have the comeback gene in them because that lacked a lot last year when things got tough and difficult and teams hunkered down. They couldn't figure anything out last year, and
I mean, and also like think about rotation, right? Like he had 7 changes, so you lose all the familiarity, but you
that's
need players to have rest because you know you have your last leg or
facts.
last 2 legs coming up. So hey, to get 3 points, that's all you do. Survive in advance. Excited to see Ake's back in training. That was awesome to see. So
Yes.
we're getting close. If we get Kev and Ake back, I think we'll be fully fit. So it's almost time.
Hey, and we know who our new sporting directors on the men's and the women's. Actually,
Look
we'll
at
see.
that.
The women's
Same
has made,
club, same passion. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's crazy how that stuff happens. Like
This isn't by happenstance, people. Like
they,
they know what they're
they
doing.
take it way too seriously.
Get you a club that cares about both. Okay. Once we
Like,
get more games than Etihad for the women, I'll fully be happy. Like Arsenal doesn't deserve those matches at the Emirates,
I
but they
know.
get them. We deserve more Etihad games. So hopefully that's the plan for next season. But I love the build. Stay low and build. Keep winning. Build a joy. I'm here for it.
Feel the joy, pun intended, double entendre. Uh,
Mm.
and even with, I was talking about it last year. It's just like, man, wouldn't it be so nice to be able to have a double title parade? And
We're
now
so close.
I can just
We're
run
so
this
goddamn close, bro. We're
this
so
year.
close.
This is a total. Could you imagine the photos from that, the video from that, like Alana Kennedy and Jack Grealish getting smashed together? Like, could you imagine? You
See, I
know?
would hope they would intermingle, right? Like, I would hope it
Yeah.
wouldn't be like women's double decker, men's
Yeah.
double decker. Like, no, everybody won. We all won.
Yes.
That would
Yeah.
be crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see
Like,
Bunny and Daku like be lit. Like, that would be my dream,
oh,
you know?
I'm getting so charged up just thinking about it. Let's
Like,
go.
these are the things we need. These are our ambitions. This is how spoiled we are. We just think about
I,
these things now. But
I
we got
need
guests
to
to get to. We got
exactly,
guests.
and she is a fellow citizen,
Let's
so
get
she
it.
can revel in all of this with us. But shout out to the Canadians out there. She's about to represent and do her thing. Shady gang. Once again, give it up for our friend Kate.
Hey
Hey,
guys.
how's it going?
Good, good. And you?
Good, great.
Doing well.
So, what is the time? I mean, what? Why is there so much brightness? Is that a lamp, or is it like for some reason? I don't know how it works in Canada.
Yeah.
It might be something.
No, no, I'm just in my basement and the lighting is really crappy, so I've got like as
Oh,
much
okay.
lighting as I can
No, it's
try to
fine.
get in here.
I was just like, is there a time zone difference?
No, 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 just in my basement and the lighting's very poor.
I have a fantastic and some would say probably terrible history of uh, not being aware, not being aware of places and things and how the world works. So
Yeah.
I'm staying on brand. It's all right. It's fine.
Yeah. 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 No, it's all good. So,
So, Kate, can you help us out? Like, how do you pronounce your last name?
yeah, so it's Kate Tigchelaar.
Tigchelaar.
Kate Tigchelaar.
I started. I
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
It's the Dutch
That's what
pronunciation,
I
like
thought.
if you really want to start going for like the guttural kind of sound. But we just like it's usually just Kate Tigelaar because
Tigchelaar. Okay.
I'm not gonna make people, do that
Every single
throat growl every time. So
time.
Tigchelaar.
yeah,
Okay.
it's like let's just skip right over that and just do, Tigelaar and it's fine. So
Got you. I will never forget it now. Tigchelaar. I like it.
yep, yep, it's perfect. So
Well, I mean, like we said, you're a fan of city football, both sides as well, and you
yep.
too will share the fact that you're watching like three screens at once. So like
Yeah, much
you're
as I can on a Saturday morning. It's
yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
great.
nothing like it.
Yep.
But yeah, how has it been this season for you as a city fan on both sides? How have you been enjoying the season for them?
Yeah, so the games I've been able to watch, it's been good. There's been a couple like the all the Champions League ones are a little trickier for me to watch because I'm at work. So I like get all the notifications. Like the last game was pretty crazy for the women's team. I was just like, oh, we're losing. Oh, we're tied. Oh, we're winning. Like it just was like all the range of emotions with that team. Like I was just like, what is going on in this game? So that's been good. Yeah, the men's has been good. There's been so many breaks, honestly, though, on the men's side, like international breaks. It's been really hard to really focus, I think, as much as the women's team. So hopefully, like once they stop doing these as many international breaks, they can kind of get back into a pattern of watching them a little bit more consistently as well.
Yeah, it's definitely been like hard to you get in a rhythm as a fan, right? You just like, okay, every
Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday, like we're moving, and then it's like, wait, another break. And again, it's only one weekend, but it feels so much longer because it literally is
Oh,
like 2 weeks between matches. I'm just like,
yep,
where are we? Like, I don't know what to do on a Saturday. So I gotta ask you, looking at the men's side, have you been? Do you think the men have like underachieved at all, or like are you happy where they are? We dropped a couple points because it happens. Like, how are you
yeah.
feeling about the men's season?
Uh, so far so good. Like we all know how it goes. Like everyone starts going into panic mode, like with injuries and, you know, like you said, a little bit of points dropped and stuff like that. But I don't think it's a long season, right? Like we're only in October, so like yeah, I'd say like I'm feeling okay. Like I don't know, like a couple of games, yeah, they've been a little bit lacking, a little bit missing here. There's been like a Champions League, like the one was it like a draw, like a 0-0 one?
Enter? Yeah, enter, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was pretty boring.
Hmm.
But like not super concerned yet. Like couple of months later, if things are still playing out the way they are, like I'd be a little bit more concerned. But like I said, if once we start getting players back from injury, like should be rolling again. I'm not too worried about the men's team.
I mean, like we've had so much time without Foden or Kevin. Like it's just like we are not fully fit yet, and we're still undefeated in the league. And like the invincible season's still on. There's still a
Yeah,
chance. So I
yeah,
will
that's
take
it.
that as like the last thing Pep needs to do. Just have an invincible season. Just make Arsene Wenger be upset. It'd be great.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like if we're doing this well with like so many players missing too, right? And it's like, yeah, we slipped a little bit. It's like that's to be expected. So when they bring them back in, like I'm sure they'll catch back up. Like I'm not, yeah, it's part of the game, right? Like it's part of,
And
and it's been part of like the team for the last couple seasons. It's like a little bit dips here, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, like you get to the second half of the season, and it's just like full steam ahead.
I
That's
love December. December is my favorite month for the season because it's like, okay, now you get the festive fixtures, and it just feels like we go on like a 7 match winning streak between December to January every season. And then they're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, City's back. And it's like, we never left. Like, nothing changed. Still
Nope.
great.
Nope.
Y'all just wanted a
Exactly.
storyline.
Yeah. So. But also, like, we've also been spoiled, right? Like the last couple of years. Like that's another thing people have to realize. Like that's not like a lot of clubs would kill to be in our position. So like even when you drop points, even when you slip a little bit like that, it's like you see all these overreactions on the internet. And it's like even if say the worst would happen this season, it's like we have been really, really lucky the last couple of years with all the trophies they've won. Right? Like I on a hockey side of things, I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. They haven't won
Oh, so
anything
sorry.
since the
So sorry.
60s. Thank
So
you.
sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, so like I know what it's like to support a team that doesn't win anything. Like so like with City, like we've been really, really blessed and yeah, last couple of years been great. So when I see dips and stuff like that, I'm like I'm not terribly concerned.
Yeah.
So right.
well. Let's Canada. If people don't know, they are getting the football league, women's football league. It has been announced. The teams are out. Things are happening. You out there, proudly Canadian. Uh,
Yes, yes,
you've already been telling everybody, the Twitter sphere, what you came here to do, and that is
yes.
represent and spread the word of it. So, please do your thing.
Yeah. So we're finally getting a women's professional league here, starting next summer. They think the dates they were like they're still a little bit iffy on the dates, but from what I heard, like an April start kickoff was kind of what they're aiming for. So yeah, it's a Northern Super League. It's going to consist of 6 teams. Calgary. Let me just make sure I get this right. Calgary, Halifax, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, and Vancouver. So it's gonna go coast to coast. Like we're gonna have teams on the West Coast, East Coast, Southern Ontario, like kind of all across the country, which is really important because a lot of the times like the East Coast tends to like there's not a lot of sports out there. So when they get teams like they really jump on teams, right? So the fact that we could get a team out in Halifax is super important. But the big thing too is this is all being kickstarted by Diana Matheson, who's an Olympic bronze medalist with our national team. And the last couple of years, the work she's been putting in to get this thing off the ground has been just incredible. So it's very exciting. I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. Toronto is going to be my closest team. So I put season tickets, like deposit down already. Like
Let's
I
go.
can't wait. Like I love Manchester. I love the Manchester women's team. Last December, I went to my first match. They played Villa. They
Wow.
finally they beat Villa 2-1 at Joy Stadium. Like right around Christmas. Like it was just like the perfect trip. But it'll also be really nice to not have to go as far to watch consistent like women's football live, right? So yeah, it's pretty exciting times here.
No, that sounds incredible. Like I'm near Washington DC, and like one of my biggest regrets of this season is that I have not been out to see the Washington Spirit. Like it's just like the schedule hasn't aligned, but like it is such great footy, and like I
Yeah,
have to go. Like that is next year I am 100% going because to have it right in your backyard, like and I know I'm closer than you are. I heard you saying like it's like an hour drive or something. Like, you're gonna make
yeah,
that trip like you want to, but it's like I feel so bad that I haven't gone because you get Trinity Rodman. Croy before she was hurt. Like, it's just incredible footballers. Ashley
Yeah.
Hatch. So you got to support. Like, if you're a fan, you got to go out, and that's how things keep going. So it's amazing. It's like you're ready to do it, and like you value the fact that you finally get one, and you don't just have to be like NWSL or WSL. Like, no, like you have your own thing. So it's really special.
Yeah, and then going to Manchester and just seeing how normalized it is, right? Like, oh, like yeah, we're all going to a game. You meet up with a supporters group. Everyone goes for a pint after or something like that, and it's just like this is just what happens. And it's like that's not what's happened in Canada. Like we've been so lacking in women's professional sports teams for so long, and now we've got the PWHL Toronto. Got season tickets to that. That's coming up this fall. And then I'll have AFC Toronto tickets hopefully next season, and then the year after that, it's going to be WNBA Toronto. Like
That's
we went from
right.
having like nothing. Went from having like no sports in the city to like all the women's sports.
Wow.
So it is a great time.
Wow.
That's exciting. That's so amazing. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, right? So yeah, it's gonna be my poor wallet, but it's
Yeah.
gonna be worth it. It's
Hey,
gonna
but
be
you
worth it.
invest in the things you love. And like if life is so short and fleeting, like we have to find joy. Like whatever makes you happy, you gotta do it. What up, Tarek?
Oh, bro, what's up?
Exactly.
Hey, I'm loving the story about Toronto and just seeing the way that it's growing. Living in a place that doesn't have a ton of professional sports or whatever, it's like that would be my dream, right? To be able to just go from really strength to strength as far as your teams are concerned. So that's a really cool story. Apologies for being late.
Yeah.
Uh,
No worries, man.
I'm
Life happens.
actually
Life's life.
eating, so I'm gonna try to turn my camera off
Your
while
thing.
I eat, but I wanted to be a part. So
Thank you,
Yeah.
man. Enjoy that dinner, bro.
Uh, I so who of the other teams in the NSL will
Yep,
be
NSL. Yep.
who will be the competition or the rival for Toronto? Is it based off geography, or are you just gonna let the games play and then see what goes with the beef?
Yeah, it's usually gonna be based off geography. Like right already I can tell you it's gonna be Montreal. There's
Ah,
always
east side, yeah.
rivalries that carry over from soccer, kind of or hockey carry into soccer. So it's
Oh,
like Montreal, Ottawa are probably like the main ones that we're looking at for rivalries, I think, with Toronto. But yeah, Halifax, Vancouver, Calgary, like they don't Vancouver I don't think likes Toronto very much, but Toronto's just we're kind of like, okay, that's nice, but because everything is so Toronto
oh,
centric,
Vancouver,
and I
they're
think that's why the West Coast sometimes is like, oh, Toronto, everything, and it's like it's one of the like it's so massive, right? So yeah, so sometimes I don't think people from Vancouver are very fond of Torontonians, but
Isn't
um,
Winnipeg out west too? Is that correct?
yeah, it's gonna be
Okay.
Calgary. It's gonna be the
Calgary, yeah, the area.
team.
Okay, got you.
But Winnipeg, they're starting to look at a team, I think, there too. Desi Scott just announced her retirement today from
Uh,
Kansas, which is really sad, and it's just making me feel really old. Like all our veteran players are retiring, so yeah, so she's been there's been in talks, I think, with her. Like she might be part. Who knows what's gonna happen, but like she's from that area, so like if we get another team, if the league keeps growing, right? Because we're at six, we're starting off with six, but we could get some of our former players, the vets and stuff like that, might be able to get involved in the league as the years go by.
and do you have any hope that the greatest Canadian soccer player ever in Sinclair will somehow become a part of this league? Like, what would that mean for you all as supporters?
Yeah, so actually she is already part. She's gonna
Okay. Oh,
be
awesome.
she bought into ownership of the Vancouver team,
Okay.
as that's where because that's where she's from. So that was pretty exciting. So Vancouver's kind of got like a leg up on the rest of us with Sinky being a part of ownership there. But yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some more like vets and stuff coming in to the league too as they start retiring or taking steps back from their national like from their club play and stuff like that. But yeah, things attached. So it's gonna be very interesting to see like how active like she's gonna be owner like part owner. But I'm just
Hmm.
wondering, we're all just kind of wondering like how active she'll be and stuff, right? Because she's gonna be done with Portland after this year.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, she'll have lots of time. So Yeah, and Steph Labe is actually out there too in Vancouver, so she's the one kind of running a lot of stuff with that with Vancouver as well. So yeah, like I said, like all those players, they wanted the league so bad, right? They never got to play in it. Um, like, even after winning the gold medal back in 2021,
Mhm.
like our federation wasn't going to kickstart a league, so Diana Matheson was the one who kind of just like put her nose to the ground and like, fine, like I'll do it myself, kind of attitude, and just took the reins, got all her business degrees, courses, pulled in
Wow.
sponsors,
Wow.
like all this stuff. Like she's just, if not for her, like we wouldn't have a league. Like it's incredible.
Yeah.
Man, that-
Oh, and so I was looking at I was looking up the full names. So like the Calgary Wild, Halifax Tides. Is it by water, I assume?
Yeah, Halifax is on the east coast. So
Montreal
gotcha.
is Ottawa Rapid, AFC Toronto,
we're
and
very boring. Toronto's
I know I
Toronto's
was
like the only one that doesn't have like
I
a
love it. I
logo.
love the simplicity. Okay, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
that's
All
Toronto
right,
just being like, hey, we don't need any bells and whistles. We're Toronto.
Yeah. Well, I
enough.
think
We are enough.
originally I think they tossed around the idea of like AFC Toronto City, and I was like,
Mm.
go with the city, stick with the city, please stick with the city, and then they dropped city out of it, and I was like, oh, that's a shame. But
Right?
like,
Because then you
I
could
could
just
really connect this to that,
be all the
like
way.
woo. But yeah, AFC Toronto is it's so good.
And I mean, obviously, this is looking very far into the future with things, but how many teams realistically could you see the league coming out with?
Uh,
Like
I
10?
mean,
Like, could
can yeah,
more at least?
like I would think 10 to 10 maybe. Like Canada's pretty big, but it's
Hmm.
so that's the problem too, right? About it. It's just like trying to figure out ideal locations and travel for all these teams because it's like you can't. It's not like England where like oh players are taking a coach from here to here, right? Like Liverpool to Manchester or Manchester to London. It's like okay, that those are like compared to like what we're experiencing. It takes like 3 to 4 days to drive like out west from like where I am, right? So like everyone's gonna be flying, so like logistically like that's something that's really hard because I think so originally they planned on 8 teams, but I don't think it was going to work, so they just stuck with six
Yeah.
and like got people committed to investing in these six clubs rather than spreading too much out to eight and like not as invested. But yeah, so yeah, I think like further down the line you could definitely get a couple more teams in for sure though.
Yes. Well, yeah, and it's always good to do your best with what you have and then
Yeah.
build from there. Yeah, just nail it with the connections, which I'm sure they're doing a lot better than Boss FC.
Too many balls. Anyone? Too many balls. That's an incredible.
It just
Like
got torn.
people got paid for that. That like people had a job. It was approved by so many different
You know what it
people. That was like,
feels
yes,
like?
too many
It
balls.
feels like a bunch of drunken frat boys got together.
Hmm.
And
1,000%.
they're like, huh, you know what's gonna be really funny? This
Too many
name and
balls.
this slogan, right? Like, this is awesome. It's like, how old are you guys?
Yeah.
Like, it's just no consideration was taken into account whatsoever.
Oh,
Nope.
Like,
D
completely missed the mark.
has a question. Is the league focusing mostly on younger Canadian players, or do you think some of the mid-career Canadians may come home too?
Yeah, so it is gonna be
Great
pulling in
question.
like a lot of talent that gets missed in this country. Like, there's so much talent that's been missed over because we haven't had a place to grow our own players. So the focus of the league is going to be to develop Canadian players. But
Yes.
Matheson's, I think her long-term goal is to be like a professional league. So it's not just going to be like um, a complete development league. I think like in one of her interviews, she said eventually she wants to be like a top five league. So like they want to draw in good names, they want to draw in and attract like the top talent. But first and foremost is kind of looking after the Canadian talent because all our players have just been so scattered for so long. So it's going to be hard. Like it's going to take a while, right? Like that. There's no getting around that. Like you're not gonna ever be like where it's gonna take a while for us to catch up with the England and the States and stuff like that, right? Like you're not gonna necessarily be drawing in names like big names from like our women's national team back to this league when it first starts off. So it's gonna be probably like players from like League One and like a lot of like our development leagues and stuff like that here as they get going. But eventually, yeah, the league is like they want to make it professional. It's not just going to be complete development. So, which is really exciting that that's the goal because like who knows who could end up playing in here, right? Once they start getting things together.
Okay, so who say they get an influx of money and whatever, make big TV deal, et cetera. Who is the dream Canadian player that they would bring back to this league to help push it to another level?
Oh, oh, that's a good question. I don't know if there's like any one person that kind of jumps to mind,
Mm-hmm.
but I think like maybe some of our players that haven't been getting as much playing time at other leagues would come back. Um, I know a lot of them like are looking like they've talked to a bunch of our national team players and just the idea of them being able to play in front of their family and friends has been a big draw. So I don't think there's like it used to be Sinclair. Like it would have been Sinclair. Like I was hoping
Mhm.
like when they announced her involvement with Vancouver Rise, I was honestly hoping I'm like, oh, how cool would it be for her to play like 1 year, right? Like get Sinky on the team, like on the squad, whatever role, like 1 year there, right? So I think that would have been probably the biggest draw for us there. So yeah, like I don't think Matheson was doing some interviews and stuff today, and then was kind of like a little bit like, don't expect national team players to come flocking back right away, right? So it's going to be like a lot of the players we saw um, in the tournament that's going on right now. Thorns just played Vancouver. They kind of beat them pretty badly. But like you could see a lot of those Whitecaps players, they're all teenagers, or most of them were teenagers, right? They're all development players, and they're all going to be good. So the league's going to be crafted for like players like them that are going to be taking the next step. But so it's just a way of keeping our own players at home, right?
Need to steal that Smith from Liverpool back.
Oh,
Oh, she's
Olivia's
so good.
she's
She
so good.
is.
She's so good.
Ooh. You see
She's
it.
gonna,
You can
and
see
that's
it.
what we've been missing on our national team too. It's like a strike, like a full out, someone who's gonna take those shots from outside the box, but actually get them on target and
Yeah,
actually
Hmm.
make good shots and making good shot choices, right? Like so many times, like we've had, it's like, okay, that's not been a great choice, but Olivia, she knows how to find the back of the net. Like she takes that like little touch around a defender and then just blasts it, right? Like so yeah, she's very exciting to watch. But yeah, like that league, this league, if it had been around for a couple of years, like that would have been great to see her play, right? So, but now she's in WSL, and like a lot of those players have to take this step overseas. So I think it'll be nicer for them too if they could stay a little bit closer to home, right?
yeah, that's fair.
Can I,
Oh,
before we, I didn't know if you were going to go.
no, you go for it.
Quick question for you, because for the U.S. on the men's side, at least, we're very dual national heavy. We make a point to try to recruit those dual nationals. We win
Yep.
some, we lose some, but we pay a lot of attention to it. Um, so I'm going to ask you about a player, and I'm not trying to generate hate for this player necessarily because I love this player, but I'm really interested to see how Canadians felt about it when it happened. So my daughter was a soccer player growing all the way up. When she
Yep.
first started playing, obviously I'm a black man, right? When she first started playing, there weren't very many black faces on the US national team. But
Yep.
we had Sydney Leroux. I know she is a Canadian who came to the States and ended up playing for the US national team. What was your thought or just the collective Canadian thought about her as a player and what she could have been, say, alongside Christine Sinclair and others?
Yeah. So it's funny. I only really started watching our women's national team in 2012. And only seriously started watching it like after they won that medal and stuff like that. So like the Sydney Leroux, I'm not sure like when all that happened. I think that was I think that was prior to that. Like I think that
It would
was
have been around that
the
time
time I think, right? So I wasn't really
because,
like
yeah. So I don't
yeah,
know because I know she did some youth national teams with
yeah,
us and she played with you all as well. So
yeah,
her decision had probably been made around 2012, maybe just a little bit before that,
yeah,
because I'm sure my kid Yeah, that's probably around the time that my kid really started paying attention, and maybe a year or two later than that. But
Yeah.
so okay, so you may not have been paying attention closely at that point.
Not super, but I do know, like, from the gist of what I've heard about what happened, it was like a Canada Soccer complete gong show. Like, they didn't treat her well. There wasn't a lot of respect there. Like, and she said she's done that before. I'm pretty sure there's a GIF of her scoring against us or something, and she's holding up the US badge, right? So it's like that drives you nuts. Like there's just like it
Yeah,
does, right? Like it's just like a Alex Morgan scoring on us or Rapinoe. Like it's just like the Canadian media, it drives me nuts. But when you start going back through the years and realizing how much crap was all this stuff was in the
you good?
federation. Um,
Is
but like
recording
the
Canada?
federation's been awful for years, right? Like so when you find out how like federations have been treating players or doing stuff like this, then it makes you a little bit looking back and on hindsight, like it makes you a little less antagonistic towards like
Yeah.
that because you get a better understanding of what that player was probably feeling at that time,
It's like
right? But
I
then
hate that you're not on our team, but I can't blame you for it. I understand how you could come to that conclusion.
yeah, and then we've also poached players like Janine Becky was born in the States, right? Like she went through
Mm.
the U.S. women's national team under 20s, so she was with you guys for a bit. Like I'm like that is probably one of the biggest wins that we could have ever gotten. Um,
It
she's been
probably
pretty
happens
good.
everywhere, right? It's just a matter of
Yeah.
what's the best position for me as a player to play and get the opportunities that I'm looking for.
Well,
And
that's
so,
it. And like the U.S. women's national team is so competitive, right? And like at the time,
So hard.
Canada, like yeah, we're competitive, but there was places, right? So that helps. And like her whole family was Canadian, so I'm sure that helped. And then like Sydney Collins, I think is also another duel that's with Canada right now. So I've seen it a little bit on the women's side, but it's not as intense as it is on the men's side. Like I find like on the men's side, like people are like, sign this guy, cap him, cap him, cap
okay.
him. Like really, it's been like, especially with Canada, but and it's been easier to do that now with how well the men's team's been doing and on the rise, right? So like players who may have decided to play for other teams are seeing what Marsh is doing, and it's like, oh, like he's actually got them playing well. Like maybe I will go this way instead of before it used to be just like, huh, no, like I'm gonna go with like my grandfather's
Sure.
ancestry or something like that, right? So
Anywhere. Give me anywhere. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's not
fair enough.
that's not this team that's ranked like 90th or whatever or
Yeah.
100th and something, right? So, but
Sweet.
yeah, so yeah,
Appreciate it. Thanks for the answer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no problem.
Well, please plug yourself. Let people know where they can find you and the things you do.
Yeah, so it's just I'm just on Twitter, Kate Tiggs, and then I'm actually part of the Northern Lights supporters group. So me and a couple of people have started a supporters group for the Canadian women's national team, and like Canadian women's soccer in general. So you can just find us on Twitter or Instagram at Northern Lights supporters group. So we try to push as much as we can, cover as much as we can about all our players on our national team, up and coming. Any kind of information you want to find about them, like you can find through us usually. We even have like a schedule of all the games that our national team players are playing in, all the different leagues. You can sync it to your calendar, and then you can watch like, well, you can figure out like what times like all their games are on. We cover like our Canadian players that are playing in the French league, the English league, um, Italian league, all that stuff. And this is something like we've had to do too because we don't have our own league, right?
Mm.
Because our own players have been so spread out, it's hard to keep track of what they're up to and what they're doing versus like if you're like with the NWSL, you're like, oh, okay, all our national team players are most of them are kind of kicking around, and this is where we can see and this is where we can do. So we've put this thing together with the supporters group, so you can actually find like where our players are. So instead of just being invested in them, when the Olympic cycles come around, when the World Cups come around, now you can start getting into the club play and like figuring out how to watch their games, and we help people figure out how to watch the games and stuff like that. So
Let's
yeah,
go.
it's a lot of work, but yeah, it's been pretty rewarding. So
I love it. Well, thank you again for coming on. We will see you
yeah,
again very soon and talk very soon.
sounds good. Thanks, guys.
So, yeah.
Thanks so much, Kate.
Yeah.
All right. Let's bring the next guest on, the homie Roberto Rojas. I feel like I've had him on almost every type of show that we've had on here, and he just always is a good time to chat. Shady Gang, give it up for Roberto.
What's up, Roberto?
What's up, boys? How are you? How's everything?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I've just been stressing on the New York Yankees playing right now. They're probably about to win and go one game
Dude,
from the World
double
Series.
play. Here we go. There we go.
Oh,
That's
I don't
two,
know about
baby.
that, man. I think the streams are behind me, so don't spoil anything.
Sorry, sorry, sorry.
Don't spoil me anything. It's all good.
How's I wanted to start off real quick. I'm gonna just get right to it.
Go for
Go.
How is life working for the worldwide leader? Like, what is that
No,
like?
no, it's great, man. Like I think ultimately it's very nice to be at a company that I think a lot of people respect, and ultimately being able to work with so many great people and so many great minds, I think is such a wonderful thing. And I've been fortunate enough now there to be there for almost a year, over a year now actually,
Mm.
that I've learned so much. I've been able to come in contact with so many people. I've met some really good names in the whole year that I've been there, and so yeah, it's nice. I mean, I don't want to sound all corporate or anything, but
No, it's all good. No, it's fine.
it's a very nice company, and I'm really happy to be here. Honestly,
Yeah, good, good. And I mean, I've seen you've been getting your traveling on as of late, which I love to see naturally because uh, I enjoy traveling and peering through people's how they see the world, and naturally you're getting your footy in as while you're at it, and so like if it whatever you feel comfortable about, obviously like sharing with us. But where have you been up to? Where have you been going? What have you been up to? What games
yeah.
have
Well, I'm trying to remember when was the last time I was here. It must have been
it's been a
what,
while.
It's been a
a
while, a few months. Yeah, yeah.
few months. All right. Well, I'll go in order then. I was in Vegas for the Copa America. I went there for the Paraguay Brazil game. We got smacked 4-1, but hey, it was nice to be in Vegas at least. It's that's always the upside to it. But yeah, I went to a couple Copa America games, the few Argentina games that were at MetLife. I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. And then the following month, I was in Paris, well, France, technically for the Olympics. I went there to obviously see Paraguay because they were playing in the soccer tournament. I was in Bordeaux for one game. They lost to Japan 5-0, but again, it was a really nice city, nice place to be with some nice people. There was a lot of Paraguayans that went there as well, so I was like, "Bet, let's go and meet up and do some stuff." And then I went to Paris for the remaining two games because the way the group stage was like, there were two Paraguay games happening. They ended up winning both those games against Israel and Mali. I would have loved to have gone to Marseille for that game against Egypt. They lost that game, obviously, on penalties. But yeah, it was a really fun experience. I was there also for some other sports, for tennis, for table tennis, field hockey, beach volleyball. And I'm sure you guys have seen those videos of the
Mhm.
of the big court right outside the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's such a fun experience. And then I went to the actual tennis, to Roland Garros, to the where they do the French Open. It was
Wow.
Yeah, it was so much fun for a good what, oh god, I say like almost a week. Just being able to do all that just happened so quickly, and it was so much fun. And then last month I was in England again. I was able to, to just tell some of my friends. I was like, bro, let's go see some soccer games. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So I was staying put in London, so we went to Fulham, Newcastle. We went to the game at Craven Cottage. Fulham won 3. I think it was 3-1. Trying to remember. I think it was yeah 3-1, and then we traveled up to Brighton for the game against Nottingham Forest the following day, and they drew 2-2. So yeah, I've just been everywhere, and it's always involving soccer, as I always think. It's not. I've never been the one of always going to, like, I don't know, like Hawaii or Cancun just to like chill out on an island, uh, all that kind of stuff. I kind of like to, as much as this is all my work and everything, I still want to enjoy myself in a way that it always connects to soccer. I don't know if that's something that's against me or just how it should be, but it's just, yeah, it's just, I always feel like all the trips have been around soccer where I just, maybe I should just take a time to just relax for one week, go to like some island and just chill out. So yeah, it's been my life actually for the last time that I've been on the show.
That's awesome, dude. Like, I just want to ask. So, growing up, like, did you ever think you'd be able to like just give the spiel you did? Where like you went to two different continents, three different countries, saw like all these matches, like saw the Olympics in person. Like, did you ever think this would happen, or like, is it like just beyond your wildest dreams?
No, I mean, I always had a dream. I
Yeah.
always kind of strived to myself of saying, yeah, I want to go and work for the biggest sports companies in the world, which I've had the fortune of doing, like at ESPN, NBC, and so on. I'm a big sports fan overall. And I think, once I've reached a path to kind of go and see myself in those kind of things, and of course have the income to do it. I just thought to myself, yeah, why not go to these big events? And I've been fortunate enough to go to, obviously, Olympics, Copa America. I've been to Premier League games, games in South America. Yeah, I think that was always the goal. I didn't expect it to happen so quickly. I'll admit that I didn't expect to do all of this in such a short amount of time, but I think that's where one just has to be very fortunate about just enjoying the experience of whatever comes about, like all the opportunities that come about, and whatever occurs. And yeah, just riding the wave with it all. I'm sure there's going to be more stuff that's going to happen in the future. I don't know what it could be. I'm always planning ahead and always thinking of what's going on. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be as like forceful and saying, yeah, I expected this, I was gonna do this. I said, no, of course not.
Mhm.
But I think it was always just a case of like finding an opportunity and trying to seize it, essentially. So yeah, no, I think it was always a nice idea, a nice dream, but I genuinely didn't expect it to happen so soon. That's all.
It's amazing, bro.
And you always repping hard for Paraguay. I absolutely love and adore that. And so, who are the players out here in the football world? Because my small little Premier League spectrum, all I know is Almiron, and he's kind of like treading water at Newcastle. So I'm sure there are other players out there doing their thing. So yeah, who are these other players and other leagues and things like that are that you should want to shed some light to?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good chance that I'm talking about this because obviously Paraguay have done so well so far. We're just coming off the World Cup qualifiers where, Paraguay are currently unbeaten with their new manager in their last four games. They tied Venezuela and yeah, sorry, they tied Ecuador and Uruguay away, and they beat Brazil and Venezuela in the last 2 months. So it's kind of a good moment for them at the moment, for them to. And I think that's always the good thing is that, for these countries that do qualify for the World Cup, like everyone knows what's the players from Brazil, Argentina, even Colombia, because we're so accustomed to it being at major tournaments and doing well. Paraguay, they don't have that, so it's always the case of like when they do qualify for these major tournaments that like everyone shines on them and see what's going on. I've been fortunate enough to just follow them all my life because it's all I know. It's what I've grown up with. It's what my parents or family members or people that involved that they always tell me about. So yeah, you mentioned Miron, like this was someone that I knew when he was 18, and I'm sure there's other players out there. I mean, like I've mentioned Enciso at Brighton. You got Ramon Sosa, the guy that scored on the day that I went to that game. He's doing well at Nottingham Forest. You got one at Inter Miami, Diego Gomez, who is going to go to Brighton
Mm,
next year, the midfielder. So
Yeah.
yeah, we got some players out there that are kind of gelling together in a way, and I think that's kind of helping Paraguay get some more prestige because
Yeah.
it's been a long time coming. Like again, it'll be 16 years since they last went to the World Cup. So at least now it's kind of
wow.
like
Oh,
kind of that sake of like, bro, I've enjoyed my childhood watching Paraguay, and I spent my whole teenage life to young adult life of them being really bad. So
Mm,
now that they're doing well, I'm just like, finally, I could actually and this right, like I said, right, this right moment of where I am in my career,
yes.
how things are going on, I'm just like, boom, this is exactly what I want to see. And of course, if they make the World Cup in North America, what better way to see them in my backyard? So it's like, yeah, kind of, they're all going together. They haven't qualified, of course, but I think that's kind of the ultimate like
Wow.
dream is to see that. So
You
why not?
yeah.
truly, and with your platform to be able to cover it. Like obviously, I'm sure you would cover it either way, but just being in a position where you are, and whatever boost or ability to amplify that you can get, like
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
only
I mean, again, like I don't want to obviously say, yeah, they're going to do it. We still,
yes, no, and I'm not
less than
trying to
2
think
years. So,
yeah,
yeah, a lot of stuff going on, but still, yeah,
yeah,
that's what we want, and I'm still going to do it even if they don't make it the World Cup.
exactly,
Like in a bad situation, I'll still talk about it because I think I think ultimately what this kind of community is, and people always like to criticize social media, whatever, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. But I think the good thing about it is that, and I'm sure all you guys can really relate to, is that so many people that can talk about anything. Like literally, you have obviously Man City, but you can get someone that talks about Brentford or Twitch Town or teams in Liga or La Liga, Serie A, or international teams, anything. And I think that's such a good thing. And I guess that's what I'm trying to do as like kind of a niche. And I'm a big fan of soccer, always will be. So I'm always going to figure out what's going on in the world. And that's kind of what my job is as well, is to figure out what's going on in the world of football, not just, pigeonholing myself into just one little niche topic. That's my kind of passion project. That's like what I like the most. Like all of us have like our kind of like, what's
Yeah.
the joke that they always say, like, what is your Roman Empire? It's like your one thing that more
Mhm.
than anything else. And yeah, maybe that's my Roman Empire, just Paraguayan soccer. So yeah, I think that's just kind of it, really. Just trying to connect it all together, and hopefully it does go well, and they can make it to the World Cup.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. Uh, okay, so I guess I don't know how the Mets are doing, but I gotta ask this question. If we get the Subway Series, how would you feel about the situation? Would you the Mets not a
Mm.
problem? You would handle it right? Just
Uh, well, I wasn't old enough to remember 2000. I'm 26. Obviously, I don't remember the Subway Series, but I just feel like in this kind of day and age, it would be insufferable, man. It would be just, I think for New York, or like, people of this kind of area, like I'm from Connecticut. So obviously I've grown up in a region all my life, really, of knowing Mets and Yankees and even Red Sox. Like I've seen them all in World Series. I haven't seen the Mets win. That's a good thing, maybe. But yeah, just like this kind of modern age. I mean, I don't know what it was like in 2000. It was just like this whole like notion of two teams from the same city facing each other. I honestly don't want that because I feel like we've already beaten them once. I don't want to see it again. Would I like to see it? Yeah, why not? If it meant beating them and sweeping them, hell yeah, I'll do it. But I want to see them play the Dodgers. Well, we got to see if the Yankees win first, of course. Like we gotta wait. We're still in
Some
game.
games left.
We still got time, man. Yeah, I mean, we've seen weirder things. Here we are. What is it? It's October of 2024. 20 years ago was it that famous ALCS against the Red Sox? So it's like
Yeah.
they're up
Yeah.
3 games now. It's like, come on, man. Like after what that happened, it's like anything's possible. So um, no, I don't want a Subway Series personally. I just want the Dodgers to do their job, and as much as I'm not really a big fan of them, because it makes sense of rivalries, but I'd rather take on them than the Mets, honestly, if that was the case.
That's fair. That's fair.
Here, here,
I'm
here,
sure you
here. I
like
want
that
to
too.
see.
I'm sure you like that as well. Like for United or for like your own sports teams, you don't want like you got a Packers scarf right in the back. You don't want to see the Bears do well. You don't want to see the Vikings
Oh
do
no,
well.
not at
You don't
all.
want you don't want them to have any sort of success. Like if I don't know what your guys' teams are, but like for example, like Charlie, you have a Kobe hoodie on. I'm assuming you're a Lakers
Yeah,
fan.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes,
I'm a
sir.
Celtics fan. I'm sure you don't want to see me do well. Like
No,
even
no.
back in the
I got
NBA finals, I'm
I
sure
got
you're
it
rooting
right
for
here. I
that.
got the
Well, yeah,
jacket.
that's different. Yeah,
Does that
exactly.
still
Fucking
feel
guy.
like a rivalry though? I mean, it is for me growing up in the 80s
Yep.
and or in the early 90s and watching Magic and Bird and all them. So for me, that's a rivalry that will. And I was a big Laker Magic fan, so I will always hate Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still a rivalry for folks nowadays?
Historically, yeah. It's like
I think for history.
because it's the title count. They're the only rivals who can compete with you for the most titles
Fair
in
enough.
NBA history. Now I will say this as an older person compared to like you know I'm 34 now, so like I was actually enjoying the Celtics last year. Like it was beautiful basketball. I'm at the point in my life, like in the NBA at least, where like I just want to see great basketball. I don't care who does it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you talk about footy and we get into man, I hope they are mediocre and terrible forever. Who cares? Fuck them. But like in basketball, I just want to see good basketball. In the NFL, I'm a Broncos fan. Tom's not here. He's a Chiefs fan. I gotta appreciate Pat Mahomes. This black man is about to rewrite every record book and take the throne from Tom Brady. That brings me joy knowing the history of black quarterbacks. So it's like in some sports, there's a true rivalry. In other sports, I'm like, I can take the greater good because there is a greater story at play. But no, when it comes to United and soccer, no, fuck them all. Fuck
That,
Liverpool.
that's
Yeah,
understandable though. That's
yeah,
understandable. I'm sure like Liverpool fans feel
yeah,
the same way because it's
yeah.
the title count, it's all that. But yeah, I mean, there's also like for Celtics fan, like for New York, for example, like you see the Knicks do
Hmm.
well, and you think that they're hyping up that train, like, oh, we're gonna be the contenders, we're gonna win, and like when you see them lose, it's like great. And I think that goes down to also like social media, like everyone's gonna come
Hmm.
out with their own sort of banter and like hater energy, and I think you kind of stick to that because I think it's part of like the whole sort of tradition and mystique of what it's like to be a fan. And I agree, like I'm not a big hater of any of these teams. Like again, I don't want the Mets to win, but that's due just because I'm a Yankee fan. It's the same thing. Like I don't want to. I'm not saying I don't. I have friends that are Mets fans, and some who are very close friends. And if they do win, I'll be like, yeah, congrats, all that. But I'm not gonna be like absolutely like sick to my stomach if they do win it. But still, it's just like it's that notion of it's like you don't want them to win. You just I'm sure you guys are like you said, like for United or for Liverpool, Chelsea, whatever teams you got, Arsenal. It's like you don't want to see them do well. It's I know so many Chelsea fans, for example, they don't want to see Arsenal win. They would much
God no.
prefer that all these other teams could win rather than or Tottenham, like same thing. Like last season when that big push was with the City, and Tottenham was saying, as much as Ange was saying, like, yeah, you got to be professional, you got to win games as much as you can, doesn't matter. There are Tottenham fans who wanted City to win because they couldn't
Hmm.
bear seeing Arsenal winning another Premier League title. It's just it's kind of like there is that mystique, and I get it that sometimes it gets out of hand, but still, like I think that's just part of the fandom of being, a sports fan. Like when it's good, it's good. Friendly banter, all good, but it can definitely get a bit
Oh, 1,000%.
cynical if need be, which that I'm not really a fan of.
Yeah, I talk about this story often. I have a bud, he's a Newcastle fan in this area, and we always just like we go to the same coffee shop, and so whenever we see each other, we chat. But one night we bumped into each other at a bar, and he goes, "Oh," and he just starts laughing, and he goes, "You need to meet my friend. He's a Scouse." And he like turns over to me, and it's just this like pale, skinny, bald guy, and I'm just like, "Hey," and he's just like, "Hey," and we just stared at each other, and, and he was like, "You done?" And then we left, and I was just like, "Yes, let's go!" That is the exact response that I wanted to have with the Scouse. Is he's just like, "Your city, yup. Your Liverpool, yup. All right, get out of my face." And like, this is great. I like absolutely loved it. I was just like, "Yes, this is a part of the lifestyle that I want." Oh man, it's fun.
I think it's again like I think that's just part like again all good and well for like outside of that kind of stuff, but
Yes.
like what it happens in like a game like like I said a finals or
Mhm.
whatever like a really big game like hell yeah all bets are off. Like I want your team to win, like for example like Paraguay play Argentina next month, so obviously yeah, big game, I can't wait for it. I've always been a big Messi fan. I've always admitted that, and I'm happy that he won the World Cup and did all those things. But that's already happened. If it when it comes even before that, even before he's done all that, anytime we play, I'm like,
Go home, old man.
I want to
That's
beat this
what he's
man.
saying.
I want to beat this man. I don't care. I don't care. 6-0. I don't care anything. Like all fun and games, go everything like that. But nah, I want to win every time, and it's like that for a lot of these guys. Like I think ultimately we always want to see our teams do well, and more so even maybe this is more of a personal connection just because I know some players as well, and I always want them to do well over anyone. But that's also that kind of thing of like saying, yeah, I don't care who it is. I don't care if these guys were like my idols as a kid, be it Cristiano, Neymar, whatever. I want to win. I always want to win. It's one thing is saying they will win. Like if I had to predict, that's saying yeah, they probably will win because they're better than us. But I still want to win, and it would be much more sweet if they do it. But yeah, that's just part. That's how the game is like, man. Honestly.
Perfect. Well, before we get you out of here, because our next guest, Kevincho, that little Argentinian demon, do you wanna do
He's
you wanna
next. He's
do you wanna
next.
talk a little smack to him? For the
No, that's my boy. No, that's my boy. I hope he gives me some good mate. That's all I asked for. But
That's fair. That's fair. That's
no,
all you can ask.
too early, man. Too early. I don't have the. I'm more stressed about other things. I'm not stressed out about that game next month. If I see him next month,
We are in October. That is a November problem.
well, that's it. But it's
Yeah.
like the same thing. You from Argentina? Yeah. And he asked me, you from Paraguay? Yeah. And just like, oh, okay. Just that's gonna be our conversation. But now we're boys. Like, I'll take that. So all up to Kevincho if you.
Dang, man. I wanted to try to get this real lit. Let's go. No, but
Of course he
respect.
wanted it. Of course he did.
Hey, I gotta try, but he's a professional. You see. Well, please plug yourself, let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So obviously you can follow me at Roberto Rojas 97 on Twitter. That's where I have all my stuff. You can also follow my other podcast, Low Limit Football, where that's kind of the show that I've been doing almost every week, talking about the world of soccer with my co-host Show Usella. We've been doing it for over 10 years now. Over 10 years now. And it's been such a fun journey between us talking to everyone in the world of football. And you can also check out my other podcast, Guarani Vision, the first ever podcast dedicated to Paraguayan football in English. We talk about everything going on in Paraguayan soccer, players, the domestic game, national team, whatever it may be. You can check us out there on all streaming platforms. And yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys. It's so much fun.
Of course. We will connect soon. Go Yankees.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, man.
Thank
Go
you, guys.
Yanks.
Have a good one.
See
Take it
ya.
easy.
Take
Bye.
it easy, bro.
And I can say that because I'm a Cardinals fan and they're way out of the playoffs. So once my team's out of the playoffs, I'll just say go team for anybody. When the year the Cubs won the World Series, I joked with a bud. I was like, hey, we're in the same division. You're in the playoffs. You'll win the World Series. Sure, I'll go to the bars. I'll watch the games. I'll root for them for you. And then sure enough, I'm there watching all of my buddies that technically I hate their team having the happiest moments of their lives. So that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
Like, seeing just the homies like legitimately like crying, like FaceTiming, calling their dads and stuff. Like that was great. But seeing the Cubs win, that wasn't. But
not fun. Not fun.
So last going from Paraguay to Argentina. Give it up for the homie. Oh, I see he's rocking the Yankees. He's showing the vibes.
Okay, big vibes.
Oh, hold on a minute. I feel like every single time I come on here, there's one of my teams are playing or just have played, and every single time they lose. I'm gonna be for real. The Yankees that came back. They were winning.
Now I gave it up.
And I had this off. I was like, "No, we won this game. We're good. I don't have to wear this on the stream." No, now we're about to lose. So thanks a lot, Shady Gang. What's up?
I apologize. Dang.
No, it's been painful watching, bro. Like I've watched it. I saw the back-to-back jacks. I was hyped. The extra insurance run 5-3. We good. We up 2 in the
Over
9th, and then crash out. They're trying to crash out, and it's like, no, not this year. Please, not this year. It's too much. I need LA and New York. I need that series. Fuck the Mets.
Yeah,
I need LA, New York.
Yeah, look. I do not want to see a Mets Yankees at all. I don't think a single person on earth wants to see Cleveland and the Mets. So I mean, we know what we want. LA, New York. Yeah. Come on.
It's time. It's time, people. Ohtani, Judge, like this is what it's about.
Oh,
like, we want to see the best of the best.
Oh yeah,
that's baseball. Come on. Yes.
Yeah. Heritage.
Well,
how's life, man? How you been? What's going on?
Whoo, boys! It's been it's been a little crazy. Okay, it's been a while since I've been on, so I feel like
I
feel like a lot in the world has happened since I've come on. But no, I mean, there's like things in the work that's going to be coming out, and like maybe tomorrow, hopefully that I get the green light to talk about, which is great.
That's exciting.
I kind of like did a full reset on the content that I've been making around MLS, which has been nice. Kind of just refreshed it. But yeah, no, nothing crazy. Just been a wild 6 months, I feel like.
Yeah. Let us even start here, because I mentioned in our podcast episode that I saw the pivot happening, and it's been beautiful to see, especially because I mean, you've said a lot without obviously saying it, but
Yeah.
you, for the longest, you've literally just been smashing your head against glass, like trying to support and root for a team that kind of goes out of their way to like not
Yeah.
show love back.
Yeah.
And I will say this, I don't want to put this on you. This is just
No, yeah.
from someone being the outside seeing in. And from a team that desperately needs as many good vibes as possible. So like that's kind of the craziest thing. So for you to finally just be like, look, I'm tired of this. Like there's so much other things that I can enjoy and elevate, amplify, laugh
Yeah.
about. I want to do that now. So it's just always great to see, someone, because it is I know you're a master at your art. So
Thank you.
so knowing that you are now opening it up, it's going to be very fun to see. It's going to be very fun to watch. So
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, yeah, for a while, like, I don't know. I've talked about this with like other people in MLS, and I think what reassured me was like not just ex players, but uh, guys who've played in the league years ago, kind of letting me know like, hey, this is just kind of how they've been. Not just your club, not just the club that you kind of support, but I think I don't know. It's different. Like for example, you guys obviously City fans, so City fans has like there's like a billion Kevinchos for City fans. Like there's a lot of people that are passionate about City that talk about City. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that City just cannot stand, and they just ignore them. It's no big deal. I think what's a little odd about, or just I felt like a certain way towards MLS, or especially this club in MLS, was like they would like legitimately go out of their way to like just be disrespectful. Like even privately, I've been like very cool. Like I'm not gonna really talk about it or show things.
of
Then
course.
pretty recently they were just like, yeah, you can't go to a game, and I'm just like, all right, you know what? I'm not gonna be freaking out. I mean, no offense, but peace and love. I love spreading the game. I'm not gonna be crying over Major League Soccer games. Okay, I mean that like with total respect. But uh, it kind of, I don't know. It was like the final push for me. Like, oh, let's talk about things that you also like to pay attention to. And it's funny because I watched the Premier League. It was like the first league that I watched that wasn't the Argentinian league. Um, and I've been watching it for so long, and I felt like I couldn't even talk about it because then people would be like, "What are you doing talking about Liverpool right now? Like you got Sporting Kansas City is going to play Salt Lake in 2 days. Why aren't you?" Like, all right, okay, brother, okay, sure, you're right. But now I feel like I can. Now I can talk to whoever. It doesn't feel like I'm stuck in a box anymore. So yeah, no, it feels good.
Yes. Well, if I can volunteer myself to join you or tap in as much and as often in however way,
Heck yeah.
obviously you have your own production and you're killing it and stuff like that. But like I said, just big fan and appreciate the pivot and looking forward to
Thank you.
what you got going on. Yeah, man.
No, yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to be talking to guys. I'm not talking to just Liverpool fans. Okay, as I can barely understand them at the start. All right, I need to talk to some people from other places. Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally down. Shady Gang on the live. I mean, come on, why not?
You know the vibes. Well, I mean, Tom Bob's not here, but we definitely got to talk about Casey Current, because
Yeah,
we got to talk about at least a successful team in Kansas City, a team that wants to win, trying to do their thing. And
for
so,
real.
yeah,
Yeah.
how has the season been watching Current Chewinga doing their thing?
Yeah, it's kind of super whiplashy. Like last year, you could tell, or we felt like okay, we're starting to build something. Last year, we're starting to grab some players. When you go, if it's going wrong, grab some Brazilians. I feel like that's a good call, no matter what. Which we did that, and then Temwa Chewinga just like arrived, and no one like when she arrived, no one had any idea. Like we knew she was a sister of another, Chewinga baller that Ballon d'Or kind of nominee, and it still doesn't mean anything. It's just a sibling. Doesn't mean you're also good, but holy God, I feel like the second game, first game. she like just absolutely burned, 4 players and every with the ball, by the way. And I think that's where we were like, okay, hold on, this might be pretty nasty. And then of course the thought is like, okay, stay healthy, just can she stay consistent? Like, all the questions, that comes up in your head. And yeah, no, she has been. And obviously, like, last week she broke the goal scoring record, which is just like, I to me it's nuts because a lot of people I talked about it on a previous stream, and there's a lot of people who are kind of like me that are just like now getting into the women's game and learning, what's it like, what is a true record like, and some people go like 19 goals, that doesn't sound that crazy. It's like, listen, there's like 20 teams here, okay? You're talking about someone that is consistently scoring almost every game. It's great, and sure, there was some media outlets not talking about a record breaker over the weekend.
Hold on, Kevincho. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Can you please, for those who are unaware, please
Yeah.
explain
We
the
all know
context for
that.
just like
I love it.
you don't have to say the publication. We don't have to start a beef,
Sure.
but like explain how all these like what happened, because it was wild to see a lot, like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so okay. In my opinion, this group, this organization, I liked. They were back on the YouTube days. Like a lot of us, especially like I just didn't know how to learn about the women's game, especially here in the US. So I'm like following everyone I can to get the information. So
Yeah.
there's other people like me that are just kind of like just learning. We're not sure what's really going on. We're just kind of picking off of what's going on week by week. Okay. Well, sure, there was a great weekend in the NWSL and women's ball in general. It was a crazy weekend. A lot of great action. And here in the US, there was crazy goals, last minute goals, absolute bombs, good passes, and they this publication made a post and said, "Hey, look at the great things that happened this weekend." And unfortunately, somehow they left out that, oh, hey, by the way, our goal scoring record, yeah, that was broken by Chawinga, which is okay. With all respect, I know like mistakes happen, sure, and of course, we're all human. We all can make mistakes. Some admin forgot to put that on there. Okay, hold on. Okay, sure. But when you ignore 50 comments, hey, what about Temwa Chawinga? How about that? And then you keep ignoring it, and then you post more posts after that, and still don't bring it up. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry to say it. I feel like that's just straight disrespect. That's on purpose at that point. If you're not just going, oops, guys, by the way, record was broke. Make it a separate post. No big deal. We wouldn't say anything. We might roll our eyes, sure. But hey, you did it. Nothing. So I know I'm a current fan, so I'm sure some people might be like, he's crying. He's a current fan. But I mean, for real, like a record was broke. It wasn't like she just scored a really good goal and it
No,
was a
no,
good
no.
goal. It
Yeah,
was
it's crazy.
everything. Come on.
Right. Yeah. But I will say this. I'm going to say the words that you didn't say. It was racist because
Yeah.
there's no way. Like, that's it, right? Like, if this happened to be, I'm just going to use the name, even though she's, retired or whatever. It is Alex Morgan doing something. You're going to that gets all the shine. Come on now. Like, we know it, right? And I hate that, like, you have to say it because that's the only thing out of my brain that came out. And this is clearly my bias as a black man and like seeing how black women are treated. Misogyny is real. So it's just like to say that like a goal scoring record for the whole league you covered happened and you don't even put it on a bullet point when you had like 7 different things that happened. Like, we're not talking like, oh, a crazy key pass happened or, oh, what a slide tackle you missed. It's like, no, she broke a record that was held by one of the greatest strikers in the world and is known as such. So like, know what that means. Like, it's crazy.
Yes. And what makes it, obviously I have no place in obviously saying that, but you could just, if her teammate was on there for making a nice pass, sure. Okay. Your teammate's on there, but the girl that broke this record, like, come on. And obviously it's horrible. Anything like that happening to anyone is horrible. On top of that, she's like the sweetest person ever. Super, like, the first thing she'll say is like, great teammates, great coaching staff, never talks about herself. And like, could not have been a better person to break this record, and it's just like, it's a slap in the face. Now, of course, like, I don't want to say it, but like down the line, if we win this thing, everything, I mean, she's like one of the biggest part, if not the biggest part, because of that. Our defense has been a nightmare. We don't even know what goalkeeper to throw in sometimes.
Somebody
Yeah,
throw some
just
gloves.
somebody put some gloves on, and then this. I mean, this girl is lighting it up, and of course, in our eyes, like we have no idea how long she's going to be here. I mean, I can
Yeah.
absolutely see her just moving on.
Oh, the
For sure.
money's coming soon. Like she will definitely be moving in a matter
Yeah,
of years. It
absolutely.
doesn't
So
matter
why
the
not
time. We know
milk
it.
it?
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
got like, come on. I don't even know how to explain it. We got someone that's coming up that's probably going to be. If her sister has been nominated for a Ballon d'Or, I mean, she's on a good track right now, breaking the
Mhm.
league record and potentially going to Europe. I mean, hopefully not City. No offense, boys. But it would be, it's a slap in the face. It really is. So I don't know. Like, I wanted to say it. I'm like, I can't. But in deep down, I'm like, there's got to be either you have a personal hate, and honestly, I'll bring up another thing, and I
Yeah.
will say this. Okay,
Okay.
they went. There's a separate show. Okay, that this is really hard to say without like saying names, but basically, this media outlet is also on a major television network from time to time. Straight up on their live show. I'm watching it live, and like they're just again throwing shade. Who's going to be MVP? I don't know. I don't know about Tamwa. I don't know. I don't know if she has the numbers to be MVP. Are you joking? Like what does she have to do? Like, come on.
I gotta come off mute to laugh. I was on mute. I'm sorry. That's fucking insane. That's so
Yeah.
ridiculous. That's like
So I
somebody in any
was
sport. That's why. Go ahead, Terry. Go ahead.
no. That's so I've not paid close attention to the NWSL this season, so
Yeah.
I'll state that up front. But I heard Tom mention this player on whenever we recorded Monday, I think it was. Now you're talking about her tonight, so I'm like, okay, let me go check out to see, because everybody's talking about how great a goal scorer she is. She's got 19 goals in 23 starts, 24 games total, 19 and 24. 19 goals in just over 2,000 minutes, just over 109 minutes per goal. If you throw in the assists, because she's got 6 of those as well, she's got a goal or an assist in 82.92. So every game she's averaging a goal or assist, right? To say she doesn't have the stats or she hasn't done enough, it just doesn't even make any logical sense. I mean, just look at the numbers. How can you say that?
Yeah. No, I agree. And like I'm so glad that pretty much everyone's just like, what's going on? Because even non-current fans, I don't think the NWSL is that old enough, just like MLS and a lot of American leagues, they're not that old that like people are like, I hate Kansas City. I'm not gonna say I hope all their players, there's people that think Mahomes is trash. They're out there, they think he's just not good. And you're a Raiders fan, or whatever. But in NWSL, it's not. I don't feel like that's a thing, and I'm so glad that there's other fan bases that are just like, "What are you guys doing? This girl is unbelievable." So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. Hopefully down the line, I just had a really bad taste in that outlet, and I'm like, what? That's a very soft unfollow, move on, not getting any more information here. Thank you, and then we'll do our own thing.
I really hate when outlets or publications make such simple mistakes. Like it's something like you said, it could have been corrected in 5 minutes. Make a post just to her so it looks like, oh, we were saving this. You could save your ass so fast.
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20 minutes later, let's give Timwa her shine. Boom, boom, boom. Get the stats up. Little Sam Kerr over here, whatever. There's so many ways around this for you just to be like, nah, never happened. We don't see that. Like it's
So I hope they don't get
unfathomable.
upset when people just make assumptions. I mean, you have to make assumptions and be like,
That's the
okay, y'all,
that,
you just don't like her, or
yeah. It's
how
deductive
dark
reasoning.
does this
Like,
go?
do we
Yeah.
hate the Midwest? Do
Right.
we not like the Currents colors? We
Right.
don't like they have their own new stadium for just women's sports. Or
Yep.
the striker happens to be African. I don't know.
We're just gonna put it there, and everybody else can decide
Yeah.
since they don't want to
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it clear. Sure.
Facts.
Yep.
Oh man, this is nice. I mean, we're staying in Kansas City. I see.
Uh-oh.
SKC had
Uh-oh.
Peter Vermes.
Okay. Listen, I'll rack it up real quick. All right, here we go. You guys don't know what a bad coach is over there in City. You guys over here, you lucky bastards. Oh, I got Pep. Let me tell you about a coach that Well, Arsene Wenger, he had his time in Arsenal. It was time for him to go. A lot of people hated him. I think afterwards, people regretted how they treated him because he was a legend of a coach, an icon, right? And Arsenal kind of stunk for a while. Anyways, Kansas City. Okay. Sporting Kansas City as a coach that is a sporting director and obviously the head coach. He's been there longer than any coach, I think, in North America. I know longer than anyone in the in MLS. And they're in this situation where now that I'm kind of breathing a little bit and not just focusing on Sporting Kansas City every minute of the day, I'm starting to really look at it like, wow, just take off sporting hat. This is the weirdest situation when it comes to like competitive sports. A lot of times in competitive sports, any sport, I don't just forget soccer, any sport, you have a coach where maybe a club or a team is not doing well for so many years. They're also in control from top to bottom, which I don't think happens in a lot of sports. Like I don't think you have an NBA coach that's also like the director or the manager of the entire organization. I think the Kansas City situation it's kind of putting some red flags about MLS, not to be like MLS hater type guy, but it does give me like just a weird feeling. Okay, in any other sport, this would be a no-go. And I'm talking about even in the US, this is like not a cool thing to have. And then years in with him just not doing well, they sign him for 5 more years. I don't know who killed who and how they know where the body is and how he's blackmailing the entire organization. But like, there's no shot that they are just continuously giving a head coach money, years, time, because he did well many years ago. I have no idea. So I wanted to bring that up just because you guys, you're watching European ball and all types of ball, and I don't know if I've seen this in any other sport. And I think Arsene Wenger and Arsenal is the closest. But in MLS, you can't really go down. You're not really losing money. So I guess that's the problem. Maybe I don't know.
And shame. Apparently, they have no shame because if you, like you said, you're at a 5-year extension is absolute insane behavior. Like I would understand 2, maybe like 2 in an option, but to just give someone 5 years like that I would love that type of job security. Like anybody would love that type of security.
For real. Yes. Yeah.
What?
I
This
agree.
is one of my biggest things in America is the white male mediocrity. Like the way you can be mediocre as a white man and still be successful, it can only happen in America. Like
Yeah,
it does not
absolutely.
happen in sport anywhere else. Like if you suck in England, they don't care where you're from, you will be gone. Like
Yes.
they'll be calling for your head in 8 matches. Like they don't care. So to be like here and hear that, and I'm just like, it's not like he's Belichick where he's won a lot and you stay. And then even with Bill Belichick, they got him out of there. Like we're done with you, bro. Like you aren't winning anymore. Sorry, you suck. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, chosen mediocrity. I mean, what's more American than that? You know?
Yeah. I thought it was kind of shocking because like when this was brought up right before his extension, people were like, I mean, this is US sports in a nutshell, like where this guy just kind of lasts forever. But I no, it's just like awful management in a nutshell. Like I think like you just said, Belichick won everything. Dude should have died in that stadium, like he could have been 100 years old. But no, they were like, yeah, you're out of here. So we're gonna move on, transition this club. The problem is, I think, which is so weird in MLS. Like I could see it in Argentina or like South America where like these clubs are like 150 years, people like kill each other over it, and they're like, listen, this guy, he's won something, he's holy. You don't touch him, I guess. But like here, I don't know why that people just kind of protect this guy. I don't know. And the other thing, he has so much control because it's not just a coach. So if he gets fired, then it's like they have to reset everything. All these players that are here are his. They all developed under him for all these years. We've had players that just retired this year and last year that were here when I first started Major League Soccer in 2000, watching in 2010. Like the same players. Okay, it's like crazy. Even if I talk to my brother in Argentina or something and say, hey, look at this goal from Sporting. He'd be like, I remember these names from like 15 years ago, Kevin. Like, what the hell's happening? that does not happen anywhere else. You better have been like, I don't know. You had to be Messi to be on a damn team for 20 years, or whatever. But I don't know. It's like a weird thing. I wanted to like, I don't know, see what you guys would think if you had that situation. I just think I don't know. I just think it's just bad front office. That's what it
I
is.
quit the club. It wouldn't exist to me. Like there were years,
For
like
real.
no, seriously, I was not a Broncos fan for like 4 years because it was just so inept. We kept picking all these quarterbacks. Like there was a whole thing like the Broncos would not have a black starting quarterback, and then they got like
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater, and it was like, come on, y'all. And then they got Russ, and I was back in. I was like, okay, we're showing some ambition, we're trying,
True.
whatever. But it's like I just stopped supporting clubs that don't want winning. Like if you don't try to win, why am I giving you my energy, my hopes, my like ambition? Like, nah, you don't exist to me. I'm still a fan. But I'm a
Yeah.
quiet fan. Like, yeah, I'm not buying a jersey. I haven't bought a jersey since 2015 for the Broncos. Like, why would I? Like, you don't deserve my $100.
Yeah,
Sean
exactly.
said Teddy Bridgewater.
So
Come on, man.
That's disrespect.
Teddy's a Miami legend, and I love Teddy.
I was gonna
And
say, be careful.
no, a
Be
great
careful.
quarter, a great citizen, an amazing
Great citizen.
steward of the game.
There's his taxes.
He was
What do
not
you
to be the
He voted.
starting
He voted in the
quarterback.
last election.
He voted for Obama twice, would have done it a third time. Like, he's not the quarterback I wanted to be a serious operation. That's what I'm saying. And again, love Teddy. The injuries messed him up. Great career. But now
Louisville's
coaching high
own.
school in Miami. Louisville, South Louisville, before
Yeah.
Lamar. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't try to win, if these rich billionaires or multi-hundred millionaires don't try, what are we doing? Like, what's the point of this? Hello.
So
yeah.
let me ask this question. Put it back in the soccer context because we know every other country has a promotion relegation system. We obviously don't have that here in the US. And if you're on Twitter, a lot of times, a lot of US or US men's national team or whatever, those conversations, they kind of divulge into the whole promotion relegation. But the fact that we don't have it allows teams to not have to worry about being good. You can be crap all year, every year, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. You get the same payout. You know. So what is the incentive to be better?
Yeah, I think that's
And
like
as a matter of fact, if you suck, you get a better draft pick. So it's
Right.
like we reward mediocrity.
Man, it is so. I think like especially when I started making content around MLS, I'm like, oh, it would be cool to talk to American fans. I'm like, I thought when I was younger, I was like, I cannot even. My family would be like, you're not watching that because what's the point? Like you just said exactly what you just said. There's no point to watch that, Kevin. So don't watch it. And then I got older. I'm like independent. No, I'm gonna watch. I can do what I want. So I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna, whatever. But I think over the years, I become I almost said it not red pilled. That's the wrong word. I became relegation pilled. I think I became, now I'm just talking to fans and we're like, we want this league to get better and whatnot. And we support the players that are coming here. And then at some point we all kind of like, there's like an awkward pause and go, hey, but what does it matter? It doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't matter because nothing's going to happen. So I think you're right. That's the weirdest thing. None of our other sports here in the U.S., you're not like the Yankees aren't going down, right? Like no one's going down. And like you said, they copied so much of these other sports where you get a draft pick, which I don't know really matters. I've seen some of these college ballers, and I don't know if that's the route to go anyways. But yeah, you get a draft pick, and that's the worst thing that happens. Like, okay, so how mad can you get a fan base? So you have to be grotesquely awful to get a fan base to be like, hey, what is going on? Or hire some of the worst people, which this club did do multiple times in like 2 years. So that's the only way. And I feel like in American soccer, we see it in NWSL. They're like lawsuits are flying every other week. We just got one last week. So there's like no way to get fans upset and riled in. And so, yeah, I think you just said the thing that there's no argument. Even though, like, I've talked to Jimmy Conrad 1,000 times. He played MLS like his whole career. And even he, huge MLS fan, and will defend it. He'd be like, hey, I played here. I know what it's like. But then at the end of the day, even Jimmy will go, well, who cares? I mean, next year we'll restart. The table restarts, everybody alphabetical order, and we go again. Like, no big deal. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And that's why, not the whole reason, guys, okay, not the whole reason, but partially one of the reasons why I'm like, I need to I need to get out of here because I feel like I'm in a loop. I like wake up every damn day for years.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly. It's the exact same thing. So yeah, definitely a problem.
Yeah, especially when the league really they take themselves as seriously as they want to in the moment.
Right.
And so like it is, yeah, it's tough trying to you yourself take that seriously, and
yeah,
it's hard.
And in the playoffs, random rant example, like everyone and their sister gets in the playoffs. So it's like, why do we have so many damn games this year? Then you know what? Just do baseball. Do an American East, do an East and a West. Let them only play each other. Then the top 6 move on or whatever, and then that's the playoffs. I don't know. But this whole like you're gonna play almost every team. Then you got the playoffs where there's 9 teams for each conference move on. It's like
wait, 9
teams.
Yeah. Is that a real thing?
Yes.
Is that a real thing?
Hold on,
yes.
bro. That is so unserious.
Horrible.
Oh God, 9, 8,
You got,
8
you
is
got
fine. I
freaking
get
Bournemouth playing in the Champions League is the equivalent or something. I don't know, like something like that. It's just it's
exactly
not
what
good,
it is.
guys. It's not good, and it's getting worse. And I think like American fans, like the whole idea of MLS. First, the MLS only started because FIFA was like, "You want a World Cup? Great, you have to have your own league." Boom. That's how MLS started. Then they continued it because you want more and more American fans to watch soccer, play soccer. Okay, great. And then now we're in phase like 4, where now we all can watch soccer around the world, relatively cheap, I guess. You can find your niche anywhere in the world, and then people start comparing and go, dude, it's easier for me to become a Nottingham Forest fan for no freaking reason and follow them because it's scary. They could go down. They could maybe one day qualify for a chance. In Philadelphia, for example, and I don't care about the Union. It's easier for that to happen. So I don't know, scary. I don't know. It's just weird. It's kind of scary for the future of MLS.
It's all about the money, though. That money's rolling in. The Apple deal. You get the season pass. You got Messi out here for another year.
Yeah,
And then we see what pops after that. But
yeah.
eventually, like, and again, I talked earlier to Kate about not going to Washington Spirit game. I've had no regrets about not going to see DC United.
DC.
It does not
Right.
matter to me. They don't matter. They are irrelevant in my life. I would go if you gave me a free ticket, but even then I might have something else to do. Like
What's my guy that's the striker? What's French
Christian
dude?
Benteke?
Yeah, you can go see Benteke.
I'm good.
On. Scores bangers, guys. Let's put some respect on Benteke. Oh, now we don't respect Benteke. That's crazy.
So fast.
I respect what he did back when Obama was president. It was great.
Right?
It's been a while.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I don't know. Like over the years, I guess like the final note on MLS, and the only reason why I brought that up is like they're, I think that league, like you said, there's a lot of money right now, but like Messi will retire. Some of the attention I think will die off a little bit. Some of these South American young players that are coming here just to play against Messi or play with Messi and get some attention on their name, that'll die off, and then they're going to continue going for the route like I want to go to the City Academy, or I want to go to
I'm playing in Portugal, League of Portugal, like all that.
Portugal, go to Benfica or whatever. That's going to come back and just be the focus. But I think for like just right now, I watch ESPN in Argentina all the time, and like that's like the thing. They're like, hey, the 17-year-old's gonna, for some reason, it's always Inter Miami. He's gonna play for Inter Miami. Okay, great. So and almost every single time they go, great, let him waste a couple years there and then be behind all the other kids in the Premier League and not even get close to making it and maybe get lucky because Bournemouth, lost their 9th striker or whatever. So, I don't know why I'm picking on Bournemouth.
I know. It's like Bournemouth getting a lot of love.
Chill out with Bournemouth.
But it works. It works. It's accurate. Like you're not like making shit up. Like it's
yeah.
But I don't know. I'm always interested. Like I like you. I love you guys. I love what you do. I love the angle you take, and it's cool. I don't know how you guys don't lose your minds because I'm sure you even get like those American fans that are just like, or not just American fans. I'm sure other fans will just go, you should pay attention to your own league or whatever. And I just don't think people really understand the big differences. Like British people in England, they're just like, go watch your soccer, guys. Go have fun with that. But they don't really see that we're not just watching your league just because like we love this game first, And there's so many differences about MLS with the game where I understand that people kind of get turned off by it and just never get into it. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Hey,
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the compliment, man.
Never
Yeah.
can
Appreciate it.
never enough time with you, Kevincho. We're gonna have to put you in for like a Kevincho special. The next
Thank
chopping
you.
up needs to be with Kevincho. We're gonna figure
Hell
something
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But please, for listeners and viewers, please plug yourself. Let them know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Yeah. Again, thank you guys for having me. Love your show, everybody. If you're watching, you better be subscribing and following. You freaks, you better do it right now. I think it's everything Kevincho_TV. And if it's not there, that's okay. Just I think Kevincho should work. Okay. If it's not working, then probably got banned or something. I say this every
You'll see
time.
that beautiful face pop up. Come on now.
Yeah.
You'll see it.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, thank you guys. I cannot wait. Hopefully we'll talk a little bit closer to the end of the Premier League season. Hopefully,
I like it.
look, the table right now looking very sexy. I think if we freeze it how it is right now, I think this is going to be the table, guys. I'm sure we're gonna have a talk at the end. This looks right. This looks good. So
30 matches later, we'll see. We'll talk in 30 matches.
I'm sure. Yeah.
All right, homie. We love you. Have a good rest of your night.
Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Ciao.
Later, bro.
Hey, what a night. Shout out to our most dope guests, Kate, Roberto, Kevincho. Beautiful. Hold on. Who do we have next week? We have
Drum roll.
here we go.
The drum roll's not done.
There we go. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah. Oh.
Nope.
There we go.
There it is. We got it.
Yes. So many weeks in a year. Wow. Who knew? We got the homie, our Man City Connect is Flobo Boyce. So for people who are big into wrestling, he's out there. He's in the world doing his thing, and also does a lot of traveling for baseball, and he's a comedian as well. I'm welcoming back the one who converted me to Angel City FC, Jamie Calderon. She's coming through, and 1/4 of Shades of Blues Network's own The 12, our WSL podcast, Mark Nichols. He will be through. So it'll be a great time. And we will see you all Sunday for our kickoff show for Man City versus Wolves an hour before kickoff. Yo, show bros, y'all want to plug yourselves? Let people know where they can find you?
I don't want to plug myself, but I want to plug Chawinga again. She is.
Yes,
I said she is averaging 109.1 goal, a goal every 109.1 goals per minute. Excuse me. If you think about, and that's over one season, so I'll grant that it's only over one season. Sergio Aguero, he was a goal every 108 minutes over the Premier League goals over the course of his Premier League career. So she's right there performing at the same level effectively as what Sergio Aguero was. We know he is, I can't even say all American, all world, all whatever. He is that guy, right? So she's performing at a level that is insane. And Kevincho kept giving Bournemouth a lot of Bournemouth hate. And so, I had to go look to see who does Bournemouth play this week. They got Arsenal. So I'm hoping that they make a point to prove him wrong, come back out and be like, oh, Kevincho, you want to come with all the hate? We got something. We're going to bring it. We're going to take it out on Arsenal. I hope that happens.
We're the
so
fighting Mike B. joins this weekend. I am a huge supporter.
Fingers crossed.
Can't wait.
I forgot that man is a part owner.
Yes, he is.
Wow,
yes,
it's crazy, crazy world.
Also, the trailer for his new movie with Ryan Coogler looks great.
Check out that scary vampire movie.
Yeah,
yes,
it's gonna be crazy.
Theaters for that.
What's the name of
it? Sinners.
I
believe.
think I've seen it, but I haven't seen it.
Michael B. Jordan, Vampire. It'll pop up.
Yes,
I want to shout out real quick. Forget my handle. I'm watching my two favorite American football teams. Virginia Tech Hokies, college football up 28-7. We're up 28-0 at half.
Who
And
they
right
playing?
now, the Broncos, they're playing Boston College at home Thursday night, 37th game. 30-year anniversary of Thursday Night Football, something like that. It's amazing. And then my Broncos somehow are up 13-3. Bo Nix is driving. Like, I don't understand. We're Sean Payton return game for my NFL fans coming back to New Orleans. And we're on our way to being up at half. And I'm just happy. I'm happy. But I'm Sharpie Charlie. Follow me there on Twitter. You know the vibes.
Hey.
Follow me in Louisville to see Miami beat the brakes off of Louisville this weekend.
Let's go.
Fingers
And
crossed. I don't want to jinx them.
follow the network on any social media accounts that we are on at Shades of Blue NW. Like the video, subscribe, follow, rate, review, all of those things, depending on how you are watching or listening to any of this. We appreciate you. You know the vibes. Shady Gang.